Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament, and I'm reading through the Apocalypse of John, so-called Book of Revelation. I'm up to chapter 18. This is a fairly long chapter. I'll do in two sections, and it does contain some fairly rare vocabulary as well. So, metatau ta edon alon angelon katabainon ta ektu uranu ekon ta exousian megalen kai hege ephotiste ektes doxes autou. And after these things, Adon, I saw, from horao, another angel. We get a participle katabainonta from katabaino, descending ektu uranu from the heaven, ekon to exousian megalen, having great authority, kai hage, and the earth, ephotiste. Now this is from photisdo, obviously connected with phos, photos meaning light, and so the earth, and this is an aorist passive here, so the earth was lit up from his glory. Kai ekraxen in iskura phona legon, and he cried out with a strong voice, legon, saying, ekraxen from krasdo, the root is crag, and so you get a psi in the aorist. Epesen, Babylon hemegale, kai egeneto katoi keterion, daimonion, kai phula ke pantos pneumatos akathatu, kai phula ke pantos or neu akathatu, and then in brackets, kai phula ke pantos stereo akathatu, kai memisemenu, hoti ektu oinu tu thumu tes porneas artes, pepokan pantata ethne kai hebazales tes gays medautes epornusan, kai hoi emperoi tes gays ectes dunamios, tu strenos autes eplutesan. A long cry here. So Babylon the Great, and we get emphasis by repetition, episen, has fallen. This again, of course, aorist from pipto. So Babylon the Great has fallen. And it has become, egeneto, a katoikterion. This is a funny word. It's only here in the New Testament and in Ephesians 2. It means a dwelling place. There is a verb, of course, katoikio, to dwell, and this is just formed as a second declension neuter noun from that verb there, so dwelling place. So it has become a dwelling place, daimonion, of demons, and phulake, a prison, pantos, of every unclean spirit, and a prison or guard room of each or every unclean bird. Now this is a neuter noun from or neon. The usual word for bird, of course, is ornithos in the genitive. So this is just another cognate word with that one. So it just means a bird, every unclean bird. And then in brackets, and a prison of every unclean beast. So unclean, if we ignore that bit there, every unclean, kai memis emenu, this is a perfect passive participle from missio, to hate, so one which is hated. Hoti, because, now the subject here is pantata ethne, all the nations, and it's neuter plural. We might expect a singular verb, but in fact we get this rather funny form here, and this, as you see the variant readings. Pepokan is a variant of pepokasi, third person plural, perfect, from pino. So pepoka is the normal perfect in the first person, and the third person would be pepokasin, but there is this alternate form pepokan, which again is neuter, which is a plural. You'd expect singular after a neuter plural verb. You don't always get it. So that means, so because all the nations have drunk ek to oinu, from the wine of the anger of her, or perhaps anger or fury of her prostitution. Again, there's variant readings here. Kai, and the kings of the earth prostituted, understand, themselves with her, from pornuo, and the emperoi, this refers of course to the merchants, so the merchants of the earth. Now the main verb here is plutesan, eplutesan, from pluteo. They became wealthy, ek, as a result of the power of her strenus. Now this is a very funny word. It's a neuter noun, so this is a genitive here. It's to strenos. It's a post-classical word of uncertain derivation. We don't know what the root of this was. It generally seems to mean luxuriousness, sensuality, wantonness. It's often translated as. So the merchants of the earth became wealthy as a result of the power of her wantonness. Kai ekusa alein phonein ek tu uranu legusan ex eltheti holaos muex autes hiname son koino anetsete tais hamatiais autes kai ekton plegon autes hiname labbeti, and then it continues to the next page there, but I'll just stop there. And I heard another voice, ek tu uranu, from the heaven, legusan, and that's a feminine participle agreeing with phone, saying, ex elthati holaos mu. So my people, we get a weak aorist imperative, even though it's a strong verb. So come out from her, and that is referring back to Babylon. You could say from it, but it's being personified as a woman here. Hiname, now this is from Sung Koinoo, and this is an aorist subjunctive. In order that you might, it's a second person plural, that you might not share together with her sins. And hina, and in order that you might not receive, you've got to supply here tina, I think, any of her plagues. So, and from her plagues you might not receive. So supply tina or something here. Hoti, ekolethe autes hai hamatiai akritu uranu kai mnemos monusen Hotheos ta abdikema ta autes. Now her sins, and then we get a verb here. It's ekolethesan. It's from kolao. It's an alpha contract verb if you're looking it up. Kolao. It's cognate with our word collage, I think. Kolao means to glue or to stick together. But it's probably here more in the sense of piled together, given what's coming up, acrid to uranu. This is an aorist passive here from kolao. So because her sins, probably something like have been piled together, i.e. one on top of the other, acrid to uranu, as far as the heaven, and God has called to mind from mene monuo ta adkamata autes her wrongdoings. Apodoti aute hos kai aute apederken kai diplosity ta dipla, catata erga autes interpaterio ho ekeresen kerasa ati aute diplun, hossa edoxasen auten kai estreniasen, tos uton doti aute basanismon kai penthos. This is from apot didomi, to give back. So give, there's an imperative here, doti, give back to her, as also she gave back. Kai diplosity ta dipla. Now this is from diploo, it means to pay back double. So double the doubling, so pay back double according to her works. And now we get an imperative, kerasity. We're going to get a similar verb here. This is from keranumi. If you're looking it up, it's got a double nu. Keranumi is to mix. So it's mix for her a double portion in the cup hoi, in which ekarasen, so ekarasen, she mixed. So in the cup in which she did the mixing, mix for her double. Both of these are from keranumi, one of the fairly few me verbs in New Testament Greek. There are a few of these. Keranumi is one of them, but didn't get regularized. Hossa edoxas en auten. Now the hossa goes with the tosuton here. So it's something like, to the extent which edoxasan, she glorified, with from doxasdo. We would expect heautein here, reflexive, but Biblical Greek often confuses this, the pronoun with the reflexive pronoun. So this must be herself. So to the extent to which she glorified herself, and now we get this, again, very rare verb, and it's from streniasdo. We saw above that word strenos, tostrenos, luxury or wantonness, post-classical word, and now this is a verb formed from this. As I mentioned before, later Greek liked these verbs in asdo or isdo. This is from streniasdo, to live luxuriously or to live wantonly. So, to the extent that she glorified herself and lived wantonly, tosuton, to such an in such a way, doti, imperative from didomi, give to her. Basanismon is torment or torture, and penthos and pain. So just to put that back together again, so to the degree in which she glorified herself and lived wantonly, give such torment and pain aute to her. Hoti en te cardia autes lege, hoti kathemai basilisa, kai kera ukemi, kai penthos ume ido. Because lege, she says in her heart, hoti that, and this is just hoti recitative, so it's like inverted commas, I am sitting basilisa as a queen, and I am not kera, a widow, and ume ido, in no way might I see, the subjunctive from horao, in no way will I see penthos, or may I see penthos, grief or pain. Dia tuto en mia hemera hexusin hai plegai autes, thanatos kai penthos kai limos kai en puri katakauthesatai. Hoti iskuros kurios ho theos ho krinos aten. And on account of this, her plagues, now Hakesusi's future from Heiko, we've had that one before with a kappa. Heiko, I have come, this is the future. So on account of this, her plagues will come on one day. Death and suffering and limos, famine. Kai en puri katakathe satai, and she will be consumed by fire, or consumed in fire. This is from katakayo, the alpha iota vowel gradation to our. This is the future passive. So, because the Lord God, understand, is Iskuros, is mighty, the one having judged her. Aorist participle. So just to put that bit together. So for this reason, on account of this, her plagues will come on one day, death and pain and famine, and she will be destroyed by fire. She will be burnt to death by fire or in fire, because the Lord God is mighty, the one having judged her. Kai Klasusin kai kopsontai ebauten hoi basiles tesges hoi metates pornusantes kai streniasantes hotan bleposin ton capnon tes porosias autes apomacrothen heste cotes dia ton phobon tu basanismu autes legontes. Uai he polis he megale, Babylon he polis he iskura, hoti mia hora eilthen he chrysisu. And now the subject here is high basileis, the kings of the earth. Now this is the future from Clio. Again, we get alpha iota becomes alpha upsilon in the future here, the vowel gradation. The sigma tells you its future. So the kings of the earth will weep. And kopsonto, well, this is from kopto, in the middle. Kopto is to beat. Koptomai, in the middle, to beat oneself in some kind of self-flagellation. So it often simply means to lament. So the kings of the earth will weep, and they will lament over her. Those who prostituted themselves with her, and those who engaged in wantonness. This is that verb straniasdo again that we saw earlier. Whenever lepos in subjunctive, they might see tokapnon, the smoke of her, this is from purosis, burning, the smoke from her burning. This is a third declension feminine noun in is. Standing from afar on account of the fear of her torment, legontes, saying. So this is referring back, the subject of all of this is the hoi basiles, the kings. So standing from afar, so standing far off, we would say, it's from macro plus that old thin ending, standing afar off on account of fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, woe, woe, the city, the great city Babylon, the mighty, the strong city. Well, it's really woe, or woe is the great city Babylon, the city, the strong city, because your judgment, Aelthen, came in one hour. In other words, in a very short period of time. Mia hora. Kai hoi emporoi, tes ges claiusi kai penthusi ebauten, hotiton gomon auton udes agorasdi ugeti, and then it goes to the next page. The emporoi, these are the merchants of the earth, are weeping, and they are in pain. Penthousi, pentheos, to suffer. They are suffering. Epartein, over her. Hoti, because. Udes, no one. Uketi, any longer. Agorazde, buys. Ton gomon, our tone, their cargo. Gomos is a word meaning cargo. It's connected with a gemo, to fill. And that which fills the ship, of course, is the cargo. So gomos, cargo. So just to do that again quickly. So the merchants of the earth are weeping and Penthousi and are grieving over her, because no one any longer buys their cargo. And then we get a list of the various things in their cargo. So the gomon, the cargo of gold and silver and lithu timiu, precious stone, kai margaritone, kai businu, kai porphyras, kai siriku, kai kokinu, kai panxulon, thuinon, kai panskuos elephantinon, kai panskuos exulu, timiomatu, kai kalku, kai sideru, kai marmaru, kai kinamomon, kai amomon, kai thumiamata, kai muron, kai libanon, kai oinon, kai elion, kai semidalon, kai siton, kai ktene, kai probita, kai hippon, kai redion, kai somatone, kai psukas anthropone. So we get a long list here of all their precious cargo. So their cargo of gold and silver, and of precious stone, and of pearls, margarites, I think it is. So of pearls, now businos is a word meaning fine linen, and of purple, well, we might say here purple clothing, and of siriku. Now purple, of course, was made from the murex, which was very, very expensive. So this purple clothing, purple dye, was very expensive. Sirikos is a word meaning silk, so of silk, and of kokinos, the scarlet, again, got to supply cloth. Kai panxulon, thuinos is a word, it's connected with a word meaning incense, I think, so it's scented. So every scented wood, kai panskuos, and every vessel made from elephantinon, this is ivory, of course made from the elephant, ivory, kai panskuos, and every vessel made from precious wood. Actually, it's most precious wood. It's a superlative from timios, meaning precious. This is the superlative, precious wood, and of bronze, and of iron, and of marble. And kinamonon, this is just our word cinnamon, it's a spice. So cinnamon, kai amomon. Now this word is an unidentified spice plant. I don't think we know exactly what it means. It's just a spice of some sort, but probably an expensive one. Kai thumiamatone, this is incense, and myrrh and Lebanon, frankincense. Kai oinon, and wine, and elion, olive oil, and semidalon is fine wheat flour. I think that's a classical word. Kai siton, and wheat. Kai ktene, this is the plural from ktenos, meaning of beasts. So this is a neuter plural here, from third declension ktenos, so in beasts and sheep, and of horses, and of redo. Now this is a very funny word here. Apparently it's only here, It's from rede, if you're looking it up, or rede, which is a word meaning a chariot. It's apparently a Gallic word, which must have come into the language as a result of the Romans being up in Gaul. So of horses and of chariots and of somatone. Well, this is bodies, but it probably refers to slaves, I think, unfortunately. So of bodies, literally, probably slaves, and psukas and thropone, again, I think a reference to slaves, literally souls of men. And that is the first part of chapter 18.